Hello, I am Ankit, self-taught motion designer from India, and I am here to talk about moving stories for brands using motion, where I'll be breaking down one of a project and particularly brand film that I created for this amazing studio called Ankit Design, where I help them bring life to an identity that they had created so they can use that brand film for their online showcases across all digital screens. But before I do that, let me just give a small introduction to myself. I am Ankit, self-taught motion and art director located in India. Over the years, I have had chance to work for amazing brands like Spotify, Netflix, Sephora, Xiaomi, just to name a few. And on my last 3 years of journey so far, I've had really great pleasure with collaborating with amazing people and studios. And one of the things whenever I'm trying to create any kind of motion is I always try to create more meaningful and emotionally resonant motion for brands, people, or the culture. And yeah, that has helped me and led me here today. So, what is motion for brands? Or you might say, what is motion branding? Well, I feel no human dresses, talks, and behaves the same. And I feel neither should brands as well, because let's face it, everyone has different kind of personalities, different clothes styles that they would like. And of course, everyone from across the world would have different kind of accent depending on where they might be raised and everything. So I feel why not think about the same for the branding and motion as well? Because whenever you are working on branding projects, you already know how it looks and feel, but you don't know how it moves. So how do you actually bring any brands into motion? So that raises a lot of questions, and that is something that I specialize in crafting. And I work in theory of motion with intention, different behaviors, and adding souls to all the statics. And I feel it's a blend between graphics design and animation because one can work without another. And in this fast-paced world, meaningful motion is a key for bringing all the brands, designs, and capturing the attention any brand might deserve. Because, of course, when you are standing out on your own, you get more attention and you basically walk, dress, and talk in a different way that invites a lot of attention towards yourself. So, the project I'll be breaking down is called Serenity Arts Festival. It is India's largest multidisciplinary art festival. The festival itself hopes to create a positive change across the art scenes in India. So, just to give a small context that the brand identity film for created by Akebane Design, and as you can see on the identity itself, all the visuals that you see, it's a mix and a mesmerizing play of all the motifs inspired by Goa's traditional bamboo art, combining them with different gradients that helps each venue create a unique personality itself and the theme of the festival. So one of the challenge that I faced when I got all the design elements was, so there are total 14 different venues and each of them have different motive and gradients based on its personality. So how do I actually bring the film together and create something that AWD's team can use for their showcase? Like this is how we crafted this whole identity, while keeping in mind that just like the brand identity, motion needs to be consistent throughout each frame to keep the identity spirit alive when pairing it with motion. That helped me understand a bit about how I actually want to bring the overall identity together. And what happened was I did break down all the elements from the identity. So the approach I took was based on all the information I had received, mind mapping all the attributes, understanding the themes, and basically immersing myself through the identity that team had crafted. I broke it down into three different parts for the motion. where one is core theme, which is come together at SF, where we are inviting basically all the people to visit the art festival, enjoy all the art and the positive spirit that it has to offer. Then we have core element, which is where there's like different 14 different venues that are featured and have been given different kind of motives, and the personality, which itself is all the gradients that we have been given to all the venue itself. So the idea became something like this, where one pixel basically multiplies into driving the visual narrative. So as you can see on the example itself, one pixel multiplies and reveals the actual motive, where using that we want to showcase coming together of everyone who enjoys art and enjoys the festival itself. So that become the idea for the overall branding film and the motion principles. So we use those elements and all the reveal theme and combining them with motion principles that actually helped us get closer to how the narrative should be for everything. So upon that small R&D, we crafted this motion principle. So one is called gather, then we have merging and upwards. So as you know, we want, and the core theme itself is come together at SF, where people are joining in on the art festival, enjoying the same. So we called one gather, where we are multiplying the pixel into many more, and that becomes a theme for revealing all the motifs. Then we have merging, where we want to use the gradients and elevate the use of gradients through drivers aspects of the festival has to offer, where we want the festival to feel very upwards, positive, and something you would just enjoy just by being there. So all of these gradients stands for that, and of course to uplift the same, we use the similar kind of motion for upwards, where we are moving all the words from slide like bottom down to up, which reveals the uppers and uplifting the audiences through motion. And as you know, words move people, so we wanted to make sure we move all the words right. And yeah, that became the actual concept that helped us together combine all of these different assets, like 14 different venues, all the gradients and everything, and keeping one consistent. So all of these have been defined now, and what they help us with is whenever we are revealing any brand film and any elements from the brand identity film, we want it to be consistent. So on the next slide, you will see the actual film that we crafted. So yeah, that was the brand identity film that I brought in life for Akibane Design showcases for all their digital screens, where we unveiled the essence of come together at SAF through pixel magic, where one pixel basically reveals through dynamic and dimensional reveals to create the gather and people joining in together, which is the actual core theme for the film identity itself. And that helped us highlight the heart of the art festival. So, in conclusion, I feel motion with intention helps brand move meaningfully while elevating the concept of identity. As we saw, the core concept come together at SF. So one pixel revealing to multiple and basically revealing all the motives. That one idea itself helped us a lot in terms of driving the overall concept. Then also helps brands and complex ideas, designs, and theme into life while keeping consistency across the mediums, just like brand guidelines. So, as you know, there were 14 different motives, 14 different gradients, and everything. And breaking them down into fewer different parts helped us craft and overall motion principles. And when we combined them together, we were able to create one consistent motion guidelines. And as I would like to say as well, motion design is not just moving any assets in a cool way, but it's a play between brand's image, message, and graphics. So make sure whenever you are animating anything, it's moving meaningfully because that can actually create a lot of impact. And before we end today's presentation, I would just like to give a huge shout out to AWD team for trusting my vision and also inviting me on this fun project. So for their all digital screen showcases. And particularly, I would also like to shout out to Akivani for all of his support throughout the project and Chris for creating this amazing academy where and the community itself for whom because of us we are here. And that's me. I have also mentioned some of my social tags, and in case anyone has any kind of questions or would like to know anything more about the same, please feel free to let me know, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you so much again for joining in. I hope this brings some value to how motion brandings work and how brands can leverage the same and create a larger impact across. Thank you.